Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. We're going to bring Justin Jackson on here in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. Welcome to everybody in the chat. We're streaming live on Stalin Tube, we're still demonetized. So our comrades over at Google have not seen fit to bequeath us with the privilege of helping them generate revenue. So you can go over to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. We're streaming live there. And, of course, on Facebook. I have a delicious vegan smoothie. I did yoga earlier this morning. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic day. This one has, what am I going to say? This one has organic unsweetened almond milk. A little more exciting than unsweetened organic cashew milk, which Lee Camp has already said is the John Tesh of milks. And kind of a mixed berry blend, organic mixed berry blend. There's mango, strawberry, blueberry maybe. Organic unsweetened peanut butter. Protein powder. And I don't know, I started using creatine, but maybe it's going to turn me into just a roided out monster. That's what I want to do. I think I'm at the right age to start doing roids. Oh my God. Goddamn, smoothies are perfect. It's the perfect food. All right, everybody. Of course, we're going to talk for Justin for a little bit. And if you want a great way to support the show is to go to rockfin.com and there's the tip feature. And I will answer all those questions after we talk with Justin. So, yeah, and I'll read those online. And, of course, you can support us. All this is below on that scroll. My Venmo at Graham-Elwood. I will answer your questions from Venmo as well. Kate is our moderator. You know the rules. You can you can disagree, you can debate, but it's got to be friendly. If you start being assholes, then you're going to get bounced. Don't be a dick. It's not a hard way to live. Just think, am I being a dick? If you're even like maybe, then you're being a dick. It's okay. We've all been dicks. Just don't be a dick. All right. And share this out on your social media. That helps our numbers and all of that. And everybody watching over on Rockfin. Let me check everything else here. Yeah, tweet this out. Got people watching. Matt S. Boom, Matt. Thank you so much for supporting the show over at rockfin.com. I appreciate the tip. Shave your knuckles for justice. Happy Monday, dude. Yes, it is. It's a fantastic Monday. All right, let's get going here. Hold on. Aloha. How's everybody doing in the chat? Right on. Just make sure. Oh, God. Quick. Be right back. All right. Everybody can see and hear me okay? All right. Let's do it. Let's bring Justin on the show. Justin, how you doing?
How's it going, Graham?
Good, man. Let me make sure.
Does my sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds all right. Can everybody... Justin, just tell us about your YouTube show right now, and we'll use that as a sound check. Everybody in the chat, and Kate, let me know if we can hear Justin okay.
Okay, yeah, I've got a new YouTube channel. It's called The Takeover. Trying to build it. I just started about a month ago. It's been going great so far. Just try and cover the news of the day. And then I feel like I kind of have a little bit of a unique lane as to where, some people that know me don't know me from politics, or they know me from home or whatever. Or, they know me from sports. And so I'm trying to, bring more, I guess, of a wider coalition to the table, because I think, growing up, in locker rooms, especially when I went to college, there was people from, Texas, Arkansas, California, everywhere. So I think, I have a kind of ability to talk to people without just name calling right away, because when that happens, people just shut their brain off and go to their, talking points from wherever they, ingest their news or whatever. But I like to have those conversations, and I think I'm kind of equipped to do that. So that's kind of how I try and tailor my show, as if I'm just talking to, kind of a regular Joe, doesn't know too much about politics. I try and break it down in that way.
I think that's fantastic, and I think it's sound is good and everything. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Political Vigilante. I'm joined by a huge Medicare for All proponent, also a member of the LA Chargers of the NFL, and has a new podcast called The Takeover, Justin Jackson. And you were just talking about, and I think that's a great point, especially because I played some college athletics. I played lacrosse in college. When it's such a you broke it down into such a great point of like, especially starting at the collegiate level, high school. I don't know. Everyone can kind of be from the same area, and maybe they all have the same mentality. That can happen. But when you start getting to the collegiate level and beyond, you do have this locker room of all these. I mean, I played lacrosse, and there was guys all from the East Coast, guys from Canada, guys from the West. I mean, just all different points of view. And it was really interesting to see where they were coming from. And I went to very kind of a unique high school, Evanston, a suburb of Chicago. It's 40% black, my high school. It was one of the first places after the end of the Civil War where people from the South, particularly freed slaves, could come and own property. So it's a very unique environment. And I remember when I went to college, I was like, I saw the how, and not that Evanston is some utopia, it's not, but it's a unique situation, and it was a very unique environment to grow up in. And I played football there and lacrosse, and I got to college at the University of Arizona, and I saw kind of how more isolated the majority of the country is. One of the most, I'll never forget this experience. So I grew up, I'm a little older, obviously. And so we were listening to the rap and hip hop when I was playing ball in the 80s, right? I graduated in 1987. I'm 51 years old. And so that's the music I grew up dancing to. I mean, that's before it was sort of mainstream. That's what the guys in the locker room, that's what we played at the parties. And I remember I was in college, and my freshman year, and some of the guys I'd met in the dorm had come from like all white schools, and their view of people that of black or anybody was just, it was off. And we were in this big apartment complex. And it's just one of these college apartment complexes where like every fifth unit, someone was having a party, right? And everyone's just like hanging out. Everyone's in college. And I heard this like house music come out of this apartment. I was like, oh, let's go there. Let's go dance to that. And it was mostly black people. And my white friends that I had met in college were like, we're not going in there. I was like, I was like, what's wrong?
That fear, of the unknown. They just don't,
And I was like, wow. And it was really, that was the first time I had sort of, I grew up in Wisconsin and moved to Evanston when I was like 11 or 12. So I went from this like white Madison, which is like a liberal college town, but very white liberal, to then Evanston, which is a whole different vibe. And then the city of Chicago, which was a whole other thing in the 80s. And then college in Arizona was this very
you're in a lot of different mixtures of just ideologies. But like the thing about it is you learn how to like really like the way I explain it is like with football. I mean, I was with those guys every single day, whether we were at class and working out, locker room.
Where'd you go to college
together? I went to Northwestern, so in Evanston.
Oh, dude.
So right there when you're talking about it,
awesome.
Right
That's right on. Oh my God, I didn't know. I did not know that.
Right around the corner. But you get to know these guys first, and then they become just your best friends, your brothers, whatever. So then when you actually start to kind of break down and get into like anything political or societal stuff like that, you actually have those bigger kind of conversations. You can actually. Like you're not just gonna sit there and call your best friend, a racist because they're from Texas and they're conservative, you know what I mean? And they grew because just how you grew up in this liberal, like myself and I know a lot of other people, you grew up in this liberal family. Obama was the best, Clinton was the best, all these things, right? They grew up on the other side. thinking Bush was the best and Reagan, right? So it's like I think Trump kind of fundamentally broke the country. You know, I mean, because at that point it's like, it's not just like, oh, you grew up conservative and, you know, you grew up with that ideology and you grew up with liberal. Now it's like, oh, you're a Trumper. Now you're, you know, irredeemable, beyond the pale. And then that way, as soon as you come into a conversation and that's what you're and that's what you start with, you're not going to get anywhere with that conversation. It's just going to be name calling. I hate you. You hate me, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's going to be learned, you know?
Where did you go to high school?
So I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. So I went to Glenbard North, which is right outside of, kind of close to Schaumburg. Do you know the area?
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I went to high school in Evanston. I know.
Okay.
And we were in the CSL North was our division.
Okay.
So we never played. I think we never played Glenbard, but we played.
No, probably not.
No.
Probably not. You might. I mean, there's 4 different ones. I went to North. There's East, West, and South. West is in like Glen Ellen. Glenbard East is in like Lombard area, and I can't remember where Glenbard South is, but
sort of the north. So those are all sort of west and northwest suburbs.
Northwest suburbs. Yeah. But I played. I think I played a tournament maybe at Evanston, or I've definitely been to the high school a few times. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you said that, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
I mean, my nephew, I just talked to him. He's playing. He's in his senior year at Evanston Township High School. He played football and basketball his freshman, sophomore year, and then he's just been focusing on baseball. But yeah, my brother and his oldest daughter went to high school there. She graduated, and so like that town is a big part of my family, and so over the summer when all of the George Floyd protests had started, my graduating class put together a weekly Zoom thing to talk about race.
Wow.
And it was pretty powerful.
Awesome. That's so powerful. And the fact that people, even showed up to talk about it, that's powerful in and of itself, It
was great. I mean, we talked about, white fragility. We talked about like some historical stuff. I didn't know about the transference of wealth, intergenerational wealth, and how it really backed up the case for ADOS in terms of like since slavery, there hasn't been this transfer of wealth by and large in the Black community because there wasn't any to begin with. Right. Whereas like I look at my ancestors came over here from Ireland, and then they worked hard and were allowed to flourish in a system that allowed that to happen. And these conversations became even more prominent because Jacob Blake, his dad and uncle, went to Evanston, and I played football with Justin, his uncle. Yeah,
I did not know that.
That was that was tough. And one of my teammates, said, David Stamp said, this is getting closer and closer to home. And each bullet was literally what he said, because it was. And I haven't, talked to Justin since then. I haven't talked to the guy in years, but I know some people that are still in touch with him. And that really brought it home for me, because I'm like, well, my nephew is from Evanston too. We went to the same schools, but my nephew is more than likely not going to get hassled or shot by the police because he's white.
Right.
And it was really, and you talk about the teammate thing, even though I haven't played ball in years, but I was like, how can I look they're your brothers in arms, whether it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. I'm like, how can I look Justin in the eye or some of my other Black teammates in the eye if I don't stand up and say something about this? Mm-hmm. Like, because they're my teammates.
Exactly.
Like, we went through it together.
Yeah, so, and when you do that, it's just like you have a different type of bond and connection, because it really is like when you play sports, and you go through, people just see like the games and stuff, but a lot of times, especially when it came to like high school and college, it's like the things you remember the most, those times where you're grinding the most. It's like, oh, you're just so tired, you're doing conditioning, and you don't think you're gonna make it. Like you just don't think you're going to make it. But those people right next to you are the ones, helping you, pulling you up. That's why it's really easier to work out in a group than by yourself. You have that pull. And so when you get off the field, just like you were saying, even if you're white and they're black, you went through the same shit, you eat together, live in the same house, all these things. So that's why I wish that sports figures kind of understood politics at a deeper level, because I think sports do speak, to so many people, because whether you're, white, black, whatever, sports are so big in the United States. So you go to that sport game, it doesn't matter. You're both fans of the same team, right? You're a team working towards the same goal. The players feel that too, right? And the players are idolized and put on this pedestal. The problem is that the players, by and large, the ones who mean well, have just been co-opted by the Democratic Party. And so to them, it's like they're doing the right thing by their communities. But it's, they've been propagandized into believing that. Like, you can't tell me voting for Joe Biden or pushing for Joe Biden is doing the right thing for your community. But that's why Trump was the biggest gift to them. Because you have this boogeyman, right, who you can say, well, he's openly racist. He openly says this stuff. He openly calls black countries shithole, right? He openly does this stuff. And so it's just easy for, the liberal brain to trigger, okay, well, Joe Biden doesn't do that. He doesn't say any of those things. So he must be, and he's got Kamala Harris as a VP. So, he's got to be good for our community, the black community. She's getting off the plane wearing Timbs. Like just like us type thing, And so that's what's so insidious about it. So I'm hoping that, we just have to find a way, because if we can get, those sports figures, on the right side, pushing for the right things. And we almost had it with the strikes, right? And then Obama swept in, and that's why Obama will always be, it just goes on and on.
I really, folks, if you're just tuning in, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're here talking with Justin Jackson. You're watching The Political Vigilante, and I really want to talk about that moment. It made me, hold on, I'm getting a thing that I'm having a sound issue. Hold on a quick second.
Okay.
I'm sorry. How is that, Kate? Is that better? Are you hearing me better now when I do that?
I hear you better as well, actually.
Okay, cool. I'm going to get a text. My mic is off now? Well, that doesn't make sense, Kate. You cannot hear me in the chat. Volume, Grant, my sound sucks. Okay, that's what thank you for the honest answer in the chat. My sound, sucks.
It's difficult. It's difficult to get that stuff right. I'm learning that on the go, too.
It is really challenging. Yeah. Yes, it's great now. Okay. Great. All right. We got the great. Okay. So all right. 2 thumbs up, 2 greats, outstanding. And thank you for telling me it sucks. I appreciate that. And real quick, I want to say, before we get into the strike Obama thing, I really want to talk about that. One of the things too you learn playing sports is you got to take shit. Like, and I can only imagine what it's like on the professional level. But I remember, just in high school being booed on the road. I remember we lost, and my geography teacher on Monday was like, "Hey, Elwood, what happened? What happened Saturday? I was captain of the team. Why'd you guys?" He's calling me out in front of the whole class, and I was 17. He's like, "What the hell happened?" And so you got to hear that. But anyway, all right.
No, that actually, it's funny you bring that up, because I feel like when the whole AOC and force the vote and all that stuff was going on, I'm like, wait, why is it okay for us as athletes? We're just people too. We're entertainers. It's a job. Why is it that we get to get cussed at, yelled at, death threats, all type of shit? Like, I'm talking all type of stuff, but it's okay when it comes to us. But, if you're an actual politician who actually has power to change lives, I don't have the power in my hands to do that, at a moment's notice, or with, canceling student debt, with a pen like Joe Biden can do. I don't have the power to do any of that. But when it's talking to them and people are getting angry because people are dying, then it's violence, or it's, oh, you know, you're out of line, or you shouldn't, you know, it's just crazy though, like the arbitrary standards we set in this country.
Let's talk about that force to vote thing. Let's really I'm so glad you brought that up, because I watched this force to vote thing happen. Jimmy had a great idea, and I've known Jimmy for years. We started doing stand up in Chicago years ago. And his first video he said, you know, I'll forgive you if you said bad stuff about me in the past, and you forgive me. Let's just get this done. And then that reaction,
that was powerful in the moment too, because at that point, you know, Jank was on board, Sam Cedar was on board. I was like, wow, like this is gonna happen, which is really why I jumped. You know, I lend my voice to it, because I was like, this is a real opportunity. We haven't done shit since Bernie lost. Like, we can actually come together. They're finally they have some institutional power. They have a coalition. We can start getting some real advances here, right? And that's why, you know, I was so enthused by it as well. I'm sure, like you and like so many other people. And then obviously, you know, what happened from there.
And that was the thing that was so nuts. And then when she said, and then I don't know who was Anna Kasparian or some other person like that was like, Jimmy said, you know, when Jimmy said, fuck AOC, that's an act of violence. I went, because you were in this and I played sports too, I was like, are you kidding me? You're in Congress. Like, I've heard the home team. I grew up a Cub fan in the 80s before they were good. It was just like, boo. I played Lee Elia's speech from 1984 when he goes, it was back when there was no lights at Wrigley. And he's like, 85% of the people are working. The other 15% come down here and boo my team. It's a playground for the cocksuckers. This is how he spoke. He was booed. I mean, I can only imagine, and I relate I'm like, if I got yelled at as a high school football player, I can't imagine. And I've been a sports fan my whole life, so I've seen home teams boo, show up with signs, fire this bum, sports radio lights up, get rid of this guy, he's the worst. And then, hey, don't be mean to AOC, because let me tell you something, an NFL coach can't give me health care. You know, AOC could. She has 12 million Twitter followers. And the fact that, like, and people are like, don't be mean, or she's our ally. Well, look, man, I didn't vote for her. I'm not in her district, but I donated to her. I used my platform. I don't have a big platform to help. Jimmy really helped get her elected. We all pushed her. I mean, you can go back through my catalog. I have dozens of videos where I'm like, she's awesome. She's the future. She's the one, you know,
everyone, we were all saying it, you know?
And then it's too mean. It's too mean. Like, this is where I'm like, this is where I love sports, because it's like, get the fuck off the field. Like, all those
if you can't handle it, get out. Like, it's your job.
Yeah. On the let's talk about that on the NFL level. Tell us about the pressure on the NFL level. If you screw up, what happens?
Oh man, it's massive. Like, I've seen people. My rookie year, this is what I knew was real. My rookie year, you know, we had already gone through, you know, training camp, which is really when like 30, 40 guys just like, nope, you're not good enough. See ya. I mean,
and it's no like,
what it is.
It's no like, hey, sorry. It's like,
sorry to hurt your feelings. It's like, yo, you know, thank you. Appreciate it. Turn your iPad in. You're gone. Like that's what it is. But my rookie year, this guy, he was one of our return men, like on special teams. And he literally did something, like the coach was already kind of pissed at him a little bit, just because, you know, he couldn't know the playbook or whatever, something like that. But he just one day had a bad practice. The next day, and this is another thing, when you're in those meetings and you fuck up, they're calling you out in front of everybody. So what are you doing? They highlight you, you know, rewind it, fast forward a million times. Like, so, you know, it's about performance. And he didn't perform. And I kid you not, the next day, this was after a practice, like not even during a game, after a practice, he was gone. He was gone. I mean, that's what it is. Like, and it's weird that we're okay with that. We're okay with having performance-based results for athletes. You know, and we understand outcomes as a product of that. But when it comes to politicians, they can be there for 30 fucking years, never get anything done, and then still have people defend them just because there's someone ostensibly worse on the other side. But when these people are in power, they didn't help you either. The people that you're defending. So when is it going to be? And this is where it is for me with, you know, people can debate, you know, their intentions all they want as far as the squad and progressives. To me, that is almost moot because at the end, it's about results, right? So in 2-3 months or in 2-3 years, are people going to have an increased wage or not? Yes or no? Now, whether you want to say it's Nancy Pelosi's fault or this person's fault or that person's fault, you know, or whether they felt good about it, they wanted it so bad, well, people aren't going to have it, period. And so are you, and the thing about that is there's something you could have done. You could have said no to the bill if it didn't have it in it. You could have done that. That was an option. That was a choice. You didn't choose that option. So I don't really care what your intentions are. The results are that we're not getting a $15 minimum wage. We didn't get an expanse in Medicare. Instead, they are going to fund COBRA, which is twice as expensive. There's corporate loopholes for that PPP money where corporate lobbying groups can get some of that. I mean, and then you're selling me this bill like it's the Bernie is the biggest piece of progressive legislation. And what? Like, where? Show me where. You're an essential worker. You worked the whole pandemic. You didn't get unemployment. You were working for less than $15 an hour. You were working. And you get $1,400. You don't have any kids. So I don't want to hear about the child tax credit. I don't have kids. I'm an essential worker. I get $1,400 and that's it? And you're telling me I got rescued? And it's just, it's crazy. And I'm like, you're selling this as, okay, you help this group of people and this group of people all marginally, no universal programs. And then you're going to sell it as if you helped everyone. Well, when you means test like that, you leave a bunch of fucking people out. And then you expect that you're like marking those people down as, oh, I did good for them. They're going to vote for me in 2022. Well, in their book, they're still in debt. You're screaming on the news that this is something great, but their life isn't great. And it hasn't really been improved that much with this bill. And that's where they fall short, where they're like, oh, we just didn't understand that all these people, we don't understand how Trump won. These people didn't come vote for us. What do you mean? We helped them so much.
It's maddening. And on that same newscast where the person who isn't getting the child tax credit because they don't have kids. And by the way, even if you do have a kid, it's only 1 year. You're not, right. It's not like this isn't, we'll see if they make it permanent or not, but more than likely they won't. So, and again, yeah, they give money for COVID. So it's all these awful things. And Joe Biden could give Medicare for all with the swipe of a pen. And to hear liberals defend, no, well, shut up. Like, I don't, like, again, going back to the sports analogy, I had a guy wide open in the end zone, but it just didn't seem like the right time. So I threw it out of bounds. And people defend that shit. Everyone would show that clip and go, wide open. Are you an idiot? You're the dumbest quarterback we've ever seen. But thank you. Pack your shit. It would be pack it. Get
and
out.
Then that's what they're doing too. It's not even, this is the funny part. They're not even throwing it and trying to, like, even if it's a bad throw, you're out, right? Like, they're not even throwing it. They're just like taking the sack or throwing it out of bounds or running when there's someone wide open 50 yards down the field. They won't even try. They won't even throw it and see what happens. Like that's how it feels. They won't try anything. They're just going to go along with every single bill. They're going to put this bill in your face, say, oh, there's all these people struggling. You don't want to help them. They're going to do that every single bill. They did it with the CARES Act. They did it with the second stimulus bill that was passed. They did it with this bill. What on earth is telling you that they're not going to do that with the infrastructure reconciliation bill coming up?
Oh God. It'll be
the same thing.
It's maddening. And then again, no one and the Democrats will and the liberals, like, they can't grasp the fact. They're like, well, we just got rid of Trump. Whoosh. And I'm like, Trump was dumb. And if he was smart, if he was literally like had a dictator's conniving brain,
for real,
he would have not left office and we would be in a full-on civil war and there'd be tanks in the street. because I read history books, which most Americans, I don't know why they can't get them, or they don't think it applies to America, or
we can't conceive that could possibly, like, that's an actual possibility that could happen here. We can't conceive that.
It's nuts. But Americans are living in denial. Like, January 6th happened. Like, last summer happened. The cops are still shooting people. That's still happening. People are dying. People are living in tent cities. Like, and the tent cities are getting bigger. And okay, so the stimulus plan, you get $1,400. You get your unemployment extended. Okay, we just printed $1.9 trillion. So we're gonna ramp into hyperinflation. I mean, there's no economy, there's no country that has done this, printing this much money, that didn't eventually have a financial collapse.
Yeah, it's
so,
not.
and that's going to happen. When's that going to happen? Right around 2022, right around the midterms. Yep. Then what? And then the other thing they can't grasp is, imagine a charismatic Mike Pence. He's an ideologue. He has that evangelical thing that's a little crazy. And imagine, like,
massively insane.
That's who the Republicans are going to bring for 24.
Yeah.
Trump was just a circus act, and he didn't even want to win, and he did win. And the reason he won, and this is the thing the Democrats still refuse to acknowledge, there's a bunch of disenfranchised working class people, mainly white people, who are like, we've been screwed over. The hell with this. We're voting for this guy. Now you can say he ran on a populist platform. Everyone wants to forget that. Yes, it was xenophobic. There was racism in there. Absolutely. But he still ran populist. He did speeches in front of closed factories and said, I'm going to open this factory back up. Now you can say it's bullshit, he didn't do it, whatever, but that's what he ran on, while Hillary was doing $10,000 a plate dinners. And they still don't want to get it. So
they never came to a reckoning on that,
No.
It was Russia, it was Comey, it was, everything else, literally anything else but the platform that they ran on. And, I think about that because I talked to my teammates before the election in November. We were all just like in the hot tub after practice or something. And I genuinely wanted to know, like, what's everyone feeling? Like, what are people kind of planning on doing? Just probing them. And I basically came to a point where a lot of them were admitting that they were just like, a lot of them, their only singular motivation was the fact that Trump was there. And that for some of them, that wasn't even enough. They were like, they acknowledged it, but they were like, yeah, I still might just not vote. And then, there was a few that said they'd vote for Biden, but there was some that were just like, I'm just going to, I'm not going to vote. And one of them was like, just as a fuck you to the Dems, I might vote for Trump type thing. I don't think he actually did, but just like, that's the sentiment that people feel. And I remember, after the 2016 election, I think the New York Times did that report with those black business owners or in the barbershop or whatever.
Yeah.
And black barbers. And they were like, yeah, just, I didn't go out and vote. Like, we vote. Like, they are forgetting that people have done this before, right? Especially black and brown people. We've done this before. We've played this game. People are tired of this shit. And they're tired of having to be like, I'm voting for another marginalized community, or I'm voting for someone else. Like, what are you going to offer to me in my life so I can vote because I want my life to get better? You can't always rely on people just to come out and vote out of sympathy. Like, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, especially like from a more liberal ideology. But man, sometimes you just have stuff in your life that supersedes that. Like, you got 2 jobs, or you can't wait in a 5-6 hour line on election day, like all these type of things. And this is why they'll continue to lose, because you make these sweeping promises and then you fail to deliver time after time, and people are tired of this shit. They're just tired.
Yeah. And especially with the, with the bend down the road, we got excited for this candidate or that candidate and nothing changed. We got really fired up, like for Obama or Clinton or whomever, and nothing really changed. And then all we hear is it's the other party's fault. And it's like, I can't. It's honestly, back to the sports analogy. It'd be like, why do you guys keep losing? Well, the refs and the other team and the fans were mean. It's like, no, play ball. Like, you guys must be dogging it in practice. What the coaches are idiots. Like, what is the problem? Like, why can these other teams win? Why did they keep
Exactly.
winning?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and people get 1-2 years and they're gone. You know, like sometimes it's just how it is. It's cutthroat. I wish, politics was more like that, because if you're not getting it done, get the fuck out. Like, what are you doing there? You're just literally stealing our money. You're stealing our money to also fund your healthcare facility, right? That they just doubled the budget for that. That was, before the Democrats were in, I think. Like, y'all are getting everything that we want just to not do shit for us. Like, get out.
Get out. You're bad. I mean, it's like, and again, it comes down to the economics of this. So, hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching The Political Vigilante. I'm joined by Justin Jackson. Hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. We've still been demonetized by YouTube. Support us at everything that's scrolling below. And for those of you who don't know, Justin plays with the LA Chargers of the NFL. How long have you been in the league?
This will be my 4th year.
4th year. Okay. And I want to talk about, because I think it's powerful what you're doing. And it's a thing that I've seen the corporate ruling class has done, because they've used sports are huge. It's obviously, better than anybody how it's big business. And again, you look to what athletes were doing in like the 60s and 70s. And then I think there's been a coordinated effort to go, let's make sure we don't get Ali and guys doing this at the Olympics again. Let's just keep everybody well paid and not. And I want to talk about what happened last summer, because the George Floyd protests had been going on for several weeks in America. They'd been very powerful. I was at several of them in LA. I was the one in Santa Monica that went off the rails. There was National Guard on the streets of Santa Monica where I lived for a week. Friends of mine, friends of mine got arrested in LA by LAPD. I mean, we all have all these stories, right? And it was, but powerful shit was starting to happen. I mean, people were like not having it. They were just like, no, we're not having this. And then, because for a multitude of reasons, not the least of which was everybody was locked up inside. And unfortunately, we've seen other videos like this before, but you had to watch the George Floyd one, because you couldn't go. You couldn't say, "Well, I'm busy. I got to take my kids." No, you had to watch this.
There's nothing else. Yeah,
there's nothing else. You had to acknowledge this. And white America, middle class white America, had to go, "Damn, wait a minute," and they had to really confront this.
It felt almost like a Selma type thing, where it's like, at that time, obviously they were trying to get more people to see it just because of TV and all that type of stuff. But now it's like you had to watch that, and you had to come to the grips with the fact that this man was there for 9 minutes getting asphyxiated to death by a cop who was being videotaped in his face, and still was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm just gonna put my knee on this guy's neck, fucking kill him. So you couldn't be like, oh, well, maybe he should have done this or maybe he should have done that, which is, what conservatives do, but liberals do it too. Okay, so you couldn't do that in this situation. But what do we get out of it? And I'm sure you want to talk more about that. But
yeah, I do want to talk more about that. So that had been going on, and people had been waking up and wholesale. And, I heard from a friend of mine from high school that I played football with, a black dude, go, I've never seen so many white people at a Black Lives Matter protest in my life. And it was like, True. Good. Everyone's paying attention. Everyone has to. Like, white America had to really confront this and talk about it and go, and get uncomfortable and go, fuck, maybe I didn't do enough. Or we all had to confront that. Like I talked about earlier, I had to confront the fact when we were doing this thing with my teammates, or not just my teammates, but my classmates, and some of my teammates were on this Zoom call from the graduating class of my high school. I was like, can I look this guy in the eye and say I've done enough? No, I can't. So I had to get into this. So there was a collective shift starting to happen, it felt like to me. And then unfortunately, the horrific shooting of Jacob Blake, which was so awful, and sports had come back. So everything had been shut down, and we had the NBA bubble, we had the WNBA bubble, baseball had started. So there was some normalcy starting back. And I put, all the shutdown, and everyone was like, oh, we're on month 4, whatever, of the shutdown and the pandemic. And when the footage came out of Jacob Blake getting shot in the back 7 times, and the league said we're done, and they all stopped. It was like the NBA and the WNBA, I think all like, I can't remember the sequence of events, but they all said no. And then some of the baseball teams even said no. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is an important moment, because it's a thing you've talked about as an athlete. You're still people, and sports unifies people. You go to a game, everyone's wearing the same jersey at the home team. And I guarantee you, some of them are Trump supporters, some of them are Biden, some of them were whatever. And it was powerful. And seeing like Doc Rivers break down crying, and seeing like a lot of athletes, like NFL, NBA players saying this ain't right. And I forget which one. He's retired, but he's on ESPN a lot. I can't remember. Anyway, maybe he's the head of the Players Association. He started crying. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is powerful. And everything stopped, because it was like, oh, we're back to normal watching sports. No, it's shut down. And I'm like, this is going to break through, because some all lives matter or blue lives matter person is going to go, hey, one of my players on my team is really expressing to me in tears. He's not yelling at me, calling him racist. He's saying, come on, treat me like just stop killing us. Yeah. Like you're dead inside of that. I go, this is a powerful moment. And I said, this is, and all the sports shows. And I was happy when sports came back. It was a break. I got to, I do this show, which is stressful sometimes, talking about everything. And I was like, I just want to watch the Cubs highlights. I want to watch, I'm a Sparks fan. Like the Bulls got no shot, but the Sparks, I was like, I was like, I'm a Sparks season ticket. I'm like, awesome. And when they stopped, like you couldn't get away. You can't even escape with sports. We have to talk about this. I'm like, this is a crucial moment. If they shut everything down, because if the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks went to the Milwaukee City Council, now I know Racine is south of there. For those who don't know, Racine is like 30, 40 minutes south of Milwaukee. But if the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks said, I want reforms right now, or I'm pulling my $1 billion franchise out of here, shit would have changed. And the only way the owner would have done that is if the players said, no, we're not playing. What the owners wanted is to just put Black Lives Matter on the floor and on some jerseys and go, oh, we'll let guys take knees now, and we won't ruin their careers like we did with Kaepernick. Right. And just let all this theater happen. And I said, this is the moment. Real shit's going to change. And then Obama came in and said, go back to playing ball. He said that to LeBron. Mm-hmm. It's another thing. I voted for Obama twice. I phone banked for the guy in 2008, and then he let the bank steal my home. So that guy can go fuck himself. And if that's too brutal, then fuck him, because he fucking is like a shitty coach. So,
but guys like you and situations like yours, it's just a number to them, Yeah. It's just a number. And half of childhood poverty means that the other half is still impoverished, but it's just numbers, and they like to use these numbers, right? And as far as the Obama thing, I mean,
how do you feel as a professional athlete? You were in the middle of this. So you guys were getting ready to talk. You were talking about maybe going back to camp. Where was the NFL?
No, so we were actually in camp. We were in camp, and short story, but we were going to have a scrimmage, and we were supposed to have a scrimmage the day after the Bucks, boycotted a playoff game, right? That's not just a game, it's a playoff game. So I was like, holy shit. I was the same as you. I was like, this is big, right? And we didn't have any plans to do anything with the Chargers, but long story short, I talked to some of my teammates, and then we had, a conversation in our locker room before the scrimmage. We were scrimmaging in our new stadium. We've never played there before. Big moments on NFL Network. It's live. All this stuff. And, I talked to a lot of my teammates, and a lot of us weren't feeling it. We were just like, this isn't right. Like, the Bucks have stopped playing. Like, we don't really feel comfortable going out there playing right now in the headspace we're in. We talked to our coach, Coach Lynn, and he was all about, we're going to go play, and, just being a, coach. Like, all that outside stuff is out, we got to focus, that type of stuff. And we all came together. We said, no, we feel this. We understand this. And, him as a black man as well, I felt like he was getting tugged between, this was good for the Chargers, right? But also, this is a moment. And he actually ended up you could tell, when we were talking in the locker room that he was really contemplating. He was like, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. I don't think we should go out there and play today. And I was like, wow, this is, and it happened across the league. There was other teams that didn't play. Instead, we went out there on live TV and we talked. We talked about what was going on and all this shit. It was huge instead of playing. And I'm like, a lot of people who were just like you said yourself, want to break from everything. They're going to watch the scrimmage, but they can't. We're not gonna let them just ignore what's going on, right? And so that's why I felt like it was powerful for us. It was powerful for everyone. And when you disrupt capital like that, like you said, that's really when things start changing. And you had Obama come in and do what Obama does. And what does he do? He quells the masses. Everyone relax. Okay, Trump will be out here soon. Don't worry about it. We got Biden coming in. Don't worry about what he's done. He's going to make sure everything's...
the 94 crime bill. He's coming in.
He's coming in. The guy who eulogized the segregationist. That guy, he's coming in. Don't worry about it. He was my VP. He's all good. And just like that, quell the masses. Masses vote Joe Biden. And now you get to the place where you're at right now. And I think because we covered politics daily so much, we forget to think back to that time and how people were feeling in the moment and all these things. And because of stuff like that is why it was so hard to even utter a critical word of, Joe Biden. And we have stuff like Andrew Cuomo's scandal going on right now. And you couldn't utter a word about Tara Reid. It's just, that's how it was so controlled. The media has, everyone so, in lockstep and controlled and brainwashed. And at that time, it was you can't say anything bad about Biden. You can't say anything bad about Biden because Trump, he's worse. And we got to get this guy in. And that message came from the top through that strike. Strike was done in a day. It's just another thing, everyone claps and applauds and moves on.
How did you feel as a professional athlete who, now you guys weren't in season yet, obviously, but you were in camp and you didn't have that scrimmage and you talked on the NFL Network. I mean, how did you feel as a guy that's a big, lefty and you're outward about it, you're open, and I was just like, oh man, it's another, just and people kept, so now, and that's when I hear now's not the time, when they were saying that about with forced vote, now's not, I go, when's the time? When we have a worse pandemic? And in terms of the Jacob Blake protest, I'm like, when's it, when the cops are killing more unarmed black people? When will the time be? So how did you feel during that whole, because again, you understand it's a bit, you're in a business. I'm in show business. It is you've got this big $1 billion stadium or whatever. You've got these big sponsors. You got the NFL networks, all this it's entertainment. Yeah. And what happened, the thing I always bring up when people are like, oh, now's not the time. I go, well, look how money talks. Look what happened with the Washington Redskins. Everybody pressured FedEx. And then, the name changed overnight. Snyder has been 15 years. I ain't changing the name. And then, when $500 million gets pulled off the line,
right?
I'll change it.
It's just a name. Who cares? At that point. But that's how they think. That's it. Sports. We live in the United Corporations of America, right? And sports is just another massive, huge American market and business, and their corporations. So at the end of the day, you have to make it untenable for them to continue in the fashion that they are, for them to change. And like you said, that's what happened with the Redskins situation. It was at that point when that money was on the line for him in his mind and his cost benefit analysis, it was untenable to keep it like that. Even if it's going to take, a year or two of branding change or whatever. That ain't worth $500 million. But, that's what it comes down to is money. So that's, at least on my show, that's kind of what I'm trying to get people to understand. I think people get that, but on a deeper level, we need to kind of come to terms with, it's not just like Republicans or Democrats. One, they're bought and owned by the same people.
Yeah.
So once you understand that, you can extrapolate from there why they make the decisions that they make. And people like Obama and Harris, they're, you know, yes, they're black. I understand that. I love representation as well. As growing up a black kid in a freaking mostly white suburb, I get it. Okay, I understand. I'm with you. I sympathize with you. But we need to get to a point where that's not enough. That's just not enough. And the Democrats, of course, want to co-opt every single first to make sure that it's never enough. And you need to just keep pushing more representation, even if that doesn't mean, you know, representative policies. Just, you know.
Yeah. It's, I mean, cause I've said this on the show. I go, well, Gina Haspel was the first head of the CIA and she's pro-torture first.
Right.
I'm like,
So,
we got to get rid of these first because we're not changing the structure. It's like, we didn't end slavery by going, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let black people own slaves too. That'll fix it. It was like, no, slavery's immoral. We're shutting it down. Like, so I know you got to go here, but in the last couple of minutes, how do you, I mean, it feels like as a true like lefty progressive, it feels like there's not a lot of wins. I'm not seeing a lot of wins.
No, there's not. And it's tough, but I'm with you.
And so where do you see this as a professional athlete that's using his platform in a very positive way? Where do you see just any real change happening? And also not just within just like us lefties of all backgrounds, but also specifically with the professional athlete. Now that Kaepernick is now,
right.
You know, that's a big change that like he was shunned and now you can take a knee. I mean, it's
yeah.
Where do you see that? Not just as the left, but also as a professional athlete that's speaking out. Where do you see this going, or what are you hopeful for?
Yeah. I'll start with the second question first. Just as far as like you said, I think it's good. It's genuinely good that society made it untenable for the NFL to be able to do something so blatant, you know, as what they did with Kaepernick. I'm glad that society pushed, you know, the NFL as a league to that point, you know, and I mean, that pretty much is what happens with most corporations, right? You have to think of the NFL as a corporation. That's what it is. So I'm glad that we're in that situation. You know, I'm glad that, like you said, during the George Floyd protests and stuff like that, you saw the, you know, big NFL players, that's important when you have those big players like the Patrick Mahomes, Michael Thomas, all these people really on your side. You can push forward things more, you know, aggressively because you know you have the backing of those bigger players who won't face as many consequences in their strength and numbers. So I'm glad on that front. And it is genuinely good that, you know, the NFL does have things, you know, funds that do, you know, give money out to causes that actually make a difference. Like just like the same thing with AOC, you know, doing the fundraiser, of course that makes a difference, but that's, you know, that's base level, right? That's what we expect. You know, we expect those kind of things. Like you need to go, that's the bare minimum standard. We need more, right? And so that's kind of what I'm pushing for. I know a lot of other guys are pushing, especially when it comes to like having black head coaches and all these things. Like there's a big push, you know, and the NFL is probably the most conservative league because you think of the fans, right? Probably the most conservative fans. So as opposed to an NBA, which is a lot more progressive, to be frank. So I'm hoping, you know, I'm going to keep speaking out. I know more people are starting to speak out more, and I'm hoping that, you know, I don't think it's going to come from the athletes. I just don't, to be honest. I think it's going to come from like labor unions and, you know, just groups of working class people, you know, striking, you know, actually disrupting stuff. And even like I have to almost qualify everything because like that's what we saw with BLM protests, and then you get Joe Biden who says he wants to fund the police more. So that's what's tough about being a real lefty, right? It's always like something like, well, yeah, that's good, but you know, this happened, and so maybe it's not as good as you think. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to. Sometimes I try and focus on more local stuff. Like, you know, you're in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, CalCare, which is being pushed. Now, we saw it get killed a few years ago, so that's another qualifier. Who knows if it'll actually get through. But there's a big push going on for that. Whole Washington, for single payer in the state of Washington. Same thing, New York. Illinois, I want to cover this, just passed a kind of a sweeping criminal justice reform bill that ends cash bail, pretty much ends qualified immunity. It's actually really good. I was surprised that Pritzker signed it. I'm like, okay. I was surprised by that. So there's more wins, I think, locally going on, maybe at a state level. So I try and cover stuff like that. Public power in New York. But, it's tough at a national level. Things are just so bought and corrupted. It's just, and then you have, the one group of people who ostensibly agree with us don't seem to have any type of strategy to, enact immediate change. They kind of seem like they're in the 5, 10, 15 year look down the road.
It's always
type of mindset, which is gonna get you where, you end up being Nancy Pelosi. Great. You're in a position of power. In 1995, you're saying you want to force a vote on single payer. In 2020, you're denying it. But that's a real, that's a real thing that happens. So I don't like, to be too grim, but I try and be honest about the situation we're in. And it is a precarious one at that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I say this a lot on my show about get local, because that's where real, on an electoral political level, local is where you actually have a shot at making some stuff happen and putting some
real
bills
change,
back. The federal level is, I'm not saying it's impossible, but man, you just see what happens. It was 14 months from the time AOC was sworn in to when she started saying Mama Bear. It was 14 months. The first couple months she's calling out Pelosi and we're going to fight and the Democrats and boom, boom, boom. And now it's Mama Bear and now's not the time. And it's a performative and condescending to, whatever. But yeah, it is on the there is a lot of victories on the local level. I just did a video on the AFL-CIO got voted down a right to work bill in Montana. They're trying to make Montana a right to work state, which kills unions. That's a red state, man. And the unions came in and said, nope. And they shut it down. And a bunch of AFL-CIO workers showed up at the state capitol and said, nope. And a Republican state legislator, Republican governor all went, oh, okay. So
that's what happens with movements of people. Actually, we're here. We're we're in your face and we're demanding something. The squad could call for that, those type of, they've got a lot of followers, people that listen to them.
They could do
I'm down. I'm ready. We can organize grassroots wise. It takes a lot of energy and effort. People do it all the time, but they can organize very quickly with minimal effort.
With a tweet.
With one, with their
if I
fingers.
Had 12 million Twitter followers, dude, I would be organizing the shit out of stuff. It would be unreal what I would do. I don't even come close to that. I got 40,000 or something.
Yeah.
Come on.
So.
All right, Justin. Well, I know you got to go. Where can people follow you online and listen to your show and all that?
Yeah. So the takeover on YouTube, I upload pretty much every day. I'll be doing a live stream at 4:30 if y'all want to come over after Graham's show finishes. And then on Twitter, I'm at J_manprime21. And on Instagram, I'm JJPrime21. So I'm mostly political stuff on Twitter though. So shoot me a follow there. And appreciate you having me on, Graham.
Dude, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Come on whenever. If you ever want me to come on Takeover, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, Graham.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Yeah. See
you. Justin Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? That was awesome. That was an awesome conversation, right? Wasn't that rad to get the view of I didn't know that the Chargers were in the middle of about to do a scrimmage. That was awesome. So right on. Here is all of Justin's info. 604 people watching. Please hit the like button, everybody. 399 watching. Let's get the likes over 400. Come on now. Bunch of people watching over on. I didn't get to finish my smoothie. What a great conversation. I didn't know the guy was from Chicago and then went to Northwestern that's awesome. Smoothie break. Hit the like button. Then I'm going to read the things I'm recommending. God damn, that's good. Oh. David Guevara, thank you so much for supporting the show on Rockfin. Shave your knuckles for justice. Great to see how knowledgeable and involved young people are becoming. It's impressive, man. Justin's got to be what, 25, 26 years old? I mean, it's I was watching Crypto Casey today, like one of the crypto shows I watch, and she was talking about cryptocurrency. And she was talking about how the $1,400 stimulus checks are already have arrived. Some people have gotten them deposited in their accounts this weekend. And she was showing some of the tweets from some crypto people over the weekend. They're like, I'm buying Bitcoin right now while everyone else is waiting for the Boomer Casino to open up. And I was like, Boomer Casino? And then she explained that's what they call the stock market, the Boomer Casino. So goddamn hard at that. Boomer Casino. Oh. Man, that's hilarious. Wow. Oh, fucking Boomer Casino made me laugh so goddamn hard. Made me laugh so hard. Boomer Casino. And I was like, yeah, man. It was mostly younger people doing that GameStop thing. A lot of young people in the streets over the summer. I was like, you got folks like Justin out there. It's just amazing. Just amazing. Audio's great. Right on. John Stowell. John, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting the show, my friend. Go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. It's free to sign up for Rockfin. And then you can do the tip. You can tip any video of mine you watch. You like it, tip a couple bucks. And then if you want premium content on Rockfin, you can get that for $10 a month. And here's the thing. Because YouTube has demonetized us, they might give it back. I don't know. I'm not counting on it. I'm only putting one video a day on YouTube. And then I'm putting 2 to 3 videos a day on Rockfin that are free. So all my content is on Rockfin. Some of it is on YouTube. And then there's even premium content on Rockfin for $10 a month, $9.99. And then I have Patreon as well for a bunch of great ways to support the show. So hit the like button. We've got 450 likes. Let's get it up to 500. Come on, everybody. Get it to 500. I'll go back to reading them. OG North American Ape. What's up? Shave your knuckles for justice, my friend. Thank you for supporting the show. This is why they're doing all this propaganda for this bill. Even on the tax credit thing, the claim of ending half of child poverty is meaningless because folks need to look at how they define poverty for families. We also have to talk about long-term, because of the giant wealth transfer that occurred. A couple $1,000s doesn't help that. I know. Student debt forgiveness changes your lives for the better. That's huge. That also infuses a bunch of money back into the economy because people aren't paying down that debt. They're putting it into the economy. Free healthcare changes people. Everyone could look and say, we got free healthcare 10 years, 20 years from now. Well, that's Biden. Biden did that. He signed that bill. We all got free healthcare. You would say that. We all have free healthcare now because of that. No one's going to remember this $1,400. Oh, we got a tax credit one year. Okay. I remember when the economy was in the tank and George Bush was in office and they sent us all $300 checks. I was like, all right, thanks, Dick, for your money. I don't care. Got that $600 in December or January, whatever. All right. Thanks. Matt Taylor, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham and Justin, thanks for the great content. And thank you for supporting it. Can't do it without the audience. Without you, I can't do this. I don't get any money from big corporations. You guys should collab more often. I love the chemistry. Yeah, it was great talking to the man. NHL stopped too. And only 20% as a league is American born as of last year. Wow. Yeah. Justin is a breath of fresh air, man. Greg Hausman. Greg, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice, dude. Appreciate you supporting the show. Virgil Fitzgerald, what's up? Hey, Justin, thank you for supporting Force the Vote and giving a damn. And it would be great if you could get your show, The Takeover, onto Rockfin. We'd love to have you here. Oh, I will try to make that happen. But first, I got to promote Big Kale. Tony DeMayo, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice, my friend. Hey, Justin is one of my favorites. Illinois did end pass cash bail. Great. That's great. Matt S. What's up, dude? Justin is an active player. Is there any fear of him having a political show while playing? I was going to ask him that, but then I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to. He's an active player, so I don't know if he's. I think it's going to be harder because of what happened to Kaepernick, and now that NFL has really taken all this flack and they've had to backpedal. I think it's going to be harder for the NFL to like come down on somebody like Justin for being political, because he's going to be like, wait a minute. Like, I think there's more. And if they did, he'd go on Jimmy's show and that would light a, I mean, Jimmy would have him on the show going, how'd you get screwed over? What did the NFL say to you? And that it wouldn't go well for the NFL. I can tell you that right now. Tony DeMayo, ba-boom. I missed the whole interview. I would burn my AOC t-shirt if I wasn't afraid of lighters. Yeah, I know. We keep backing these people and like, yeah, big change is coming, and then nothing. It's insane. It's insane. Yes, Big Kale is giving me my weekly bribe of the kale smoothie. You got me, man. Hit the like button, even on Rockfin and on YouTube. Hit the like button. OG North American Ape, shave your knuckles for justice. Let's also remember that Dems were legit sitting on this bill for 2 months. Yep. Progressives could have been fighting that entire time. Instead, they were pushing goofy shit with impeachment, censorship, and domestic terrorism. They wait till after the bill to produce shit like rent, mortgage cancellation. Why do they not fight to include that? It's kind of important. I know. It's all theater. A man of principle, shave your knuckles for justice. Great collab. Yeah, that was awesome. We keep electing liars, hoping that this time will be different. Yeah, I know. This time's going to be, these liars are going to be different. Vegan guns. Boom. This channel has been demonetized. $496 likes. Let's get it over 500. 500. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Hello, Annabelle. How are you? Hit the like button. 500 likes. Come on. There it is. Did it. We did it. Boom, boom, boom. Shave them. So seaweed smoothie tastes like ocean. Yeah, Americans treat their politicians like celebrities and rock stars. All right, folks. Don't forget tonight at 8 o'clock Pacific time, I will be doing the Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge, which is, if you have a Rockfin premium subscription, it is a premium members exclusive live stream. Mondays at 8. I do more songs because there's no copyright issues. It's a little looser format, but I'll do segments and stuff like that. But I really wanted to do this show with Justin today. How great is that, man? This is the thing why I love being a real lefty progressive, man, socialist, because you meet all these different interesting people, like NFL player who played college football in the town that I lived in Evanston. Like I went to Northwestern games. That's really cool, man. It's, I've gotten to talk with Ray McGovern and all these interesting people, man. It's really cool. It's really cool. Gale force onshore winds right now. I can taste the ocean in it. Is clothing optional in the lounge? That's up to you. I will be wearing clothing, but you don't have to. You can watch me. You guys want to watch me naked? I'm all for it. Just be cool, have fun. Kate, thank you for supporting our show over at rockford.com, Kate. Ba ba boom, ba ba boom, ba ba boom, 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 boom. It's snowing here in March, yet people still don't believe in climate change. Oh, God, Tony, you're so correct. Anyway, Kate, what is going to be in the next bill? When will politicians start talking about it? When the present one ends in September? Well, as is this money printing, kicking the can down the road, so we're probably not going to have a big housing collapse. I've been seeing there's going to be a big housing collapse at some point, but that's not happening right now. Okay. I don't want a housing collapse to happen, but it's going to happen. So I think this bill just kicks everything down the road. And I think they're thinking, I believe this is what's going on, Kate. They're like, okay, we give all this stimulus through September. 27% of the country's already been vaccinated. By summer, it'll be 50, 60%. Then everything can open up. Even some of these states are opening up too early. They're opening up too early. If I can just wait. But by like June, July, everything is going to be opening up. And so the economy is going to uptick. And they're going to go, see, we did it. And, barring some new variant that the vaccines don't work against or something, barring some awful thing like that, like some new variant comes and there's all the numbers go through the roof again. God, I don't know what we'll do if that happens. That's awful. But I think their plan is like, the economy's back, everything's opened, everyone's been vaccinated that wants to be vaccinated. So no more stimulus. Now everyone's got to go back to work. And, you know, if your business got wiped out, if your industry got wiped out, and then they're going to start maybe calling in some of these PPP loans or whatever. I mean, we'll see. They haven't done rent cancellation yet. They haven't canceled rent. So the forbearances on all the mortgages, what's going to happen with that? All that ends in September. Then in the months after that, October, November, December, January, that's when they're going to be like, there's no more stimulus and everyone's just got to, the economy's opened up, and they'll tell us it's all great. Everything's great. And see, we did it. The stimulus worked. The economy's great. The stock market's doing great. They're going to tell us that. The boomer casino. God damn, that's funny. I don't know who came up with that. First I heard it was on Crypto Casey today. Boomer casino. But they're going to sell us everything's great and just tell us they're all great. And a lot of us are going to go, wait, it's not great. Or I'm just back to barely working and barely getting by with mountains of debt. I'd take this $1,400 and I would buy Bitcoin. It just hit an all-time high of 60,000. It's come back down to 55, 56 right now, but they're saying it'll be by $200,000 by the end of the year. Let's check a little bit. Let's give a little Bitcoin update. A little Bitcoin. Or Bitcoin. I have BlockFi and Crypto.com and Coinbase referral codes, ladies and gentlemen. Please check those out. Wait a minute, let's go. Wait a minute. Bitcoin is at 56 right now. Ethereum's 1792. Bitcoin just did a little dip. I'd buy some. I'm telling you, if I checked my bank account today, and if my 1,400 already been in there, I would have bought Bitcoin today, like that. Yeah, it's at 56.7. Yeah. So that's what's going to happen in September. I think September, they're going to be like, hey, we did it. We're out of the woods. You know, it's the vaccine worked. Stimulus is over. Everyone's got to go back to work. And then reality is going to set in. And then all this money printing, hyperinflation. So you print that much money, it brings up inflation. It brings up the cost of everything. And then at some point, the real estate market's going to collapse because all these people are not going to be able to, they're going to go, oh God, we've got all this money stacked. Because even if forbearance just restructures the loan, the interest rates, the taxes, the escrow, all that stuff is going to add up. So even then, your monthly payment's going to be bigger, more than likely. I mean, each mortgage is different and everything, but that's generally what they're saying is going to happen. When I watch these like realtor and financial experts that I see, and all this money printing is gonna have an effect. And then the economy end of this year, beginning of next, is gonna get really bad. They just delayed it. So and the Republicans will run a bunch of right-wing psychos for the midterms, and the Democrats will offer more centrism and bullshit, and they're going to lose a bunch of seats. And then that, which will actually be good for them. They can really, we lost it. And then it'll be, don't criticize the Democrats. We got to take back the House. One of these got to take backs. Yeah. I've heard this, like Justin was talking about, people have had it. He's heard this. We'll get him next time, not down the road. He's been hearing this, and he's, he's probably half my age. And so it's like, if he's been hearing, if some people in their mid 20s are tired of hearing this. So I've been hearing this for 30 years. If we just, not now, later if we just, then we'll, I'm purposefully watching the stream on Rockfin because I'd rather give them the traffic at this point. Same here. Presidents and world leaders are nothing more than store managers. They don't own the store. They don't make their own policy. They just read scripts and follow orders from bankers. The Monday Night Crypto Lounge. MHC, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. When a great window of opportunity like Justin Jackson mentioned can be slammed shut by a figure like Obama, what can be done to prevent that? It seems like they always have a lever they can pull to instantly nullify any momentum. Yep, I know. It's got to do it outside of it. I mean, he said it's going to be labor. It's going to be outside of sports because Justin is like saying, I mean, basically what happened over the summer is like, there's too many people in sports that think, Obama was great or whatever, even though he's talking to his teammates and they're just like fed up. He goes, I don't know that it's going to happen. So Matt S. Boom, Matt. Do boomers imagine Bitcoin traders are like the Matrix techno orgy scene? That's what I'd like to imagine. Yes, I think that's what they think it is. Thank you, Shelley. Wait till we cure cancer. Probably should. Yeah, you should watch The Matrix. Who's this account? Kate, who's this person putting stuff in the chat under my name? Laugh my ass off? Who put that in there? Who is this person? I didn't put that in there. Graham Turian candidate. Who is this person? This isn't me. That's not me. Nice try, imposter. Yeah, here's what it looks. Yeah. This is me. Hacked by Granny Petrol. With a real Graham Elwood, please surf up. Please surf up. Yeah, it was hacked by Granny Petrol. Kilkenny 8. Boom. Demonetize this. Thank you, Kilkenny 8. I appreciate it. Melissa H. Hope your knuckles are shaved and full of justice. Wish I could stay up for the Crypto Lounge, but I watched last week, and Tuesday I was completely worthless. I'm too old for this. Yeah, not going to say that. I know it's late. I know it's like 11 o'clock on the East Coast. I get it. But I know others like Truth to Tweet. Got to see this thing with Justin, which was cool. All right. Since I'm going to do since I'm going to do live tonight at 8 for Rockman, I'll sing a song and wrap on out of here. And if you guys want to jump over to watch Justin's show, you should check that out. Get money out of politics. Love from Denmark. You got that right. By Raytheon Lockheed Martin stocks. Who effing cares? Yeah. Russell Brand got hacked by a guy trying to scam his audience. I know. Yeah, Justin's got a show called The Takeover. Is that what he said? Right? All right. All right, let's get a song. All right, let's find a song. What should we sing? The magic of the internet. How much is the Crypto Lounge? It's $10 a month to be a Rockfin premium member, and you get the Crypto Lounge every Monday. You get all my premium content, including my Graham Goes to Russia documentary. All the karaoke videos are there, and you get everybody else's premium content across the whole platform. It's the best deal on the internet, kids. Yo, what's up? Hello? Did you just call me, Kate? Gangster's Paradise. Yes, let's do that. As Shatner.
It's time to switch to T-Mobile. Right now, pay zero cost when you do. Keep your number.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left because I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Might be treated like a punk. You know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lined in chalk. I really hate to trip, but I got a lock. They croak and I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool. I miss this kind of G. Little homies want to be like on my knees in the night saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most their lives living in a gangster's paradise. Been spending most their lives living in a gangster's paradise. Keep spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Spock, I've told you, keep spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the streets, so I got to be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind, got 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I locked out gangster set tripping banger, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger, fool. Death another but a heartbeat away. I'm living do or die. What can I say? It's 23 now. Will I see 24 the way things are going? I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Been spending most of their lives living in a gangster's paradise. Been spending most of their lives living in a gangster's paradise. Keep spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Keep spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Power and the money, money and the power, minute after minute, hour, bones after hour. Everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen, but I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. They can't understand it. How can they reach me? I guess they can. I guess they won't. I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck. Been spending most of my life living in a gangster's paradise. Been spending most of their lives living in a gangster's paradise. Open up a hailing frequency because we've been spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Keep spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Tell me, why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Tell me, why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? All wars. Everybody gets hurt in a war. Live long and prosper. Man, that song's, those lyrics are really poignant, man. Those are powerful lyrics. Do it as Stallone. Late Night Crypto Lounge tonight at 8 o'clock Pacific. Thank you so much, everybody. 596 likes. Let's get that above 600. Let's do it. 600 likes. Let's get it. Come on, hit the like button. YouTube. You can do it. We did it. Boom. Hit the likes over on I paid $81,000 for a $33,000 education. Student loan should be forgiven while I paid mine. I can't tell how many in this. Oh, yeah, I know. Wow. 765K Vline. Shima, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show on Rockfin. Keep up the good work. You speak for me. Sorry, I cannot send more, but this capitalist system requires me to abide by the free enterprise system while the criminal elite live by a socialist system. I appreciate that. I appreciate any support you can give, folks. And if money's tight, I totally get it. Share the videos, like the videos. Hitting the subscribe button on YouTube is free. Signing up on rockfin.com is free. And, you know, putting these videos out on your social media. Those are all free things you can do. Scott Johnson received a chit. Let me check. Thank you, Scott. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Let me check Venmo real quick to make sure they're WAN chat there and all. Thank you. Boom. Thank you, WAN chat, for supporting the show over on the Venmo. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. I very much appreciate it. We're doing the game show this Thursday. This Thursday, actually, Kate, I forgot to tell you this. It'll be at 7:30 Pacific time because Ron has another show. So we're going to start a half hour late. I don't have guests lined up yet, but every Thursday around 7:30 Pacific time, we do the Political Vigilante game show. Last week we had Karen Rontowski and Rosie Tran. That's another thing you get if you're a Patreon supporter at the $10 level. And if you're a Rockfin premium member, you get all the game shows. And this live stream, as soon as it's over, I'm going to pull it off of YouTube and put it on Patreon, and then pull it and then make it a Rockfin premium. So you get a lot of bonus stuff. Grandma was a beefcake who doesn't eat beef. Thank you so much. Boom. All right, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Go check out Justin's show. I think he just went live. And follow him on Twitter because he tweets a lot of politics on Twitter, which is great. And that's the kind of professional athlete we need to support. One that's using his platform to help. That's great. You know, so thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the show. Boom, boom, pow. Boom, boom, pow. Follow the money, connect the dots. Here's a link to Justin's show right now. Come by later tonight, 8 o'clock Pacific time on the Rockfin. If you go watch Justin's show, just tell him Graham sent me over in the chat. So thank you so much, everybody, for checking out what we do. And there are ferrets and hats watching our program as we speak. New government secrets just dropped today. Follow the money, connect the dots. That's where you get the truth. That's what makes Gotham great again. Shave your knuckles for justice, because you are all political vigilantes. Bye-bye.